Well, hello there. This is Virtuoso Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. A few months ago, towards the end of 2023, I released my new book, 50+2 Chess Quick Wins, Tactical Ideas for Exciting Chess for Beginner Players. Get your copy on Amazon. Now, in the beginning section of the book, I cover a number of tactical ideas, themes and motifs that often underlie the quick win in chess. This is the 7th video in the series, and today I'm going to talk about a concept that at one glance appears to be fairly simple and obvious, but on the other hand is not necessarily understood in terms of its practical ramification in the game. The win state of chess is, of course, checkmate, which is where your opponent's king is under attack and cannot escape from that attack. Checkmate. Now, from that perspective, one of the strategic approaches to achieving checkmate, particularly early, is to attack the opponent's king with your pieces. As I said, seemingly a little bit obvious, but what does this actually mean practically? So potentially in the early part of the game, so both in the opening and in the early middle game, particularly after the opponent has castled, moving your pieces towards the side that your opponent's king has moved. So for example, if they've castled king side, moving your pieces towards the king side so that you can coordinate an attack on the king and the king's position. Now, from this perspective, let's assume that the opponent castles kingside, which is usually the most common direction that the king castles, especially early on. A potential approach that we may have is to attack down the H-file. Let's have a look at this position. Now let me just load it up. There we go. So here, this is just an indicative position, just to get a sense. So here we have the opponent's king and their pawns. Okay, and why attack down the H-file? What's the logic with attacking down the H-file? Well, simply there is no I-file. Okay, there is a G file, but there is no file to the other side of H. And that means that given that most of the opponent's defensive pieces, or their pieces, are going to be towards the center, in general terms, the defenses are going to be stronger on the center, the more center-facing files, than the outermost file, H file. Even just look at these pawns. Let's consider what they defend. So they defend these pieces like this, and if we see the H6 square is only defended once, while these squares are all defended at least, whoops, let me try to load that up, at least twice over. So there is a unique weakness to the H file simply because there can be no I file, there can be no pieces to the other side of the H file, providing a defensive resource down the H. And this is just a basic concept. So this idea of attacking down the H file as a notional idea is often combined with some other tactical approaches as well. For example, combining an attack with the knight and the queen, particularly on this side. Also potentially something like the Greek gift sacrifice, both of which I'm going to cover in later videos. Let's have a look at a game, a very simple game, where we see this idea, this notion of attacking down the H file and potentially how strong and how lethal it can be. So in this game, let's look at it from the perspective of white. Keep an eye out on the H file. Now initially the game proceeds fairly normally. Now it's a queen's pawn opening, so starts with d4, the opponent plays c6, knight c6, d5, bishop f4, bishop f5, e3, e6, as I said, Very, very normal looking name. This is the Chigorin variation of the Queen's Pawn opening. And now we start to see a little bit of fireworks, captures, Queen now out. Notice Queen is looking at h7 as a consequence of it moving into the center. Knight moves out, knight out, the bishop. Now this bishop moves back, captures, and now notice rook and queen, just so in this position, both end up controlling the h-file. Now this is almost a sort of an accident. Black is actually okay here, though white has a very, very strong attack down that king side, down the h-file. Black here probably makes now a strategic error with short castles, bringing the king towards this side. Now, white can't attack right away because it is defended by the knight. And so what is white going to do? Try to dislodge that knight. So they push g4 with the plan of moving to g5 and then attacking the knight. And here, black blunders by thinking, oh, there's a hanging pawn here. They don't see this tactic. So being sensitized to these tactics are important for your own defense. They capture the seemingly hanging piece. It's a blunder because queen, rook, attacking down the h-file, queen captures h7, and that is mate. Good game, GG. So keep this idea, attacking down the h-file, especially when your opponent castles kingside. We'll see this overarching thematic idea in some more concrete examples, some more concrete tactics in the subsequent videos. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.